Springtime in New York City is magic. You may never know on a given day whether you're going to get snow, rain, sleet, wind, or just one of those perfect spring days. You know those days that make enduring a winter like the one we just had worth it, where nothing else matters except who you are spending it with, for today or forever. Days that unlock flowering trees and lunches outdoors. Days that unlock top deck ferry rides and my personal favorite, bike rides.
A lot of people seem curious about what it's like to bike in New York City, especially when I have my son on the back seat. And the answer is it's fine. You gotta be more careful about the pedestrians. The cars seem used to it, but there's a lot of tourists and pedestrians that want to wander into the bike lanes and such.
As I get older, the opportunity to go outside without my son or a dog, or my son and a dog, are very few and far between. It's not that it's impossible. You just have to be really intentional about getting outside and spending time doing some of the things that you love. Most people are not living in these huge houses or even like condos or buildings with these big apartments. So being outside is super important.
Here we go. Yeah, otra bicicleta.
Another one. Two bikes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
3 bikes.
As soon as the days start to get warmer, I start to get this anxiety, this FOMO of like, I have been stuck inside for months. I think everyone's kind of feeling the fatigue at this point and really would just love some consistently warm weather.
Without a doubt, spring is the best season in New York City. You get that time before everything smells like pee, before it's so hot and gross in the subway, or it's still pleasant. And after a long winter, you know, everyone's still in a good mood.
It's like a collective exhale from 8 million people at the same time being like, yes, thank you.
It's too shaky. Sorry, puppy. This is a bad road. Whoa. My phone fell in the water. Fell off my mount. Gotta get a better mount. That one's no good. But surprisingly, the screen seems okay, which is great because I just had it replaced last week. And just like that, we're on the west side. And this is all now just bike trail. Pretty safe. A couple spots along here that you gotta like watch out for people exiting parking lots and such, but otherwise, you're in the clear here. So you can get all the way up and down Manhattan on this side. I feel like a lot of people are intimidated by it. But this is probably one of the few cities in North America that is probably safe.
It's really hard to get outside sometimes. Like, you have a stressful day at work, you know, you just want to do something physical, exert some energy and just kind of like decompress. But, you know, got responsibilities, gotta pick up my son, gotta get home, gotta get, you know, just do things around the house. So it gets really tough.
Here we are. Pier 97. Okay. Definitely further than I remember it, but this is a pretty dope playground. Let's play in here. Slight miscalculation on my part because this playground has a sand pit and I generally try to avoid those because I just don't want to deal with the sand and he really wants to go in. So Let's at least take off the shoes and socks, minimize the damage. Maybe I'll talk about my my bike rig here, show you what I'm working with. So the bike is a Specialized LA. It's a pretty entry-level specialized road bike. For the seat, I'm using the Top Peak seat. I actually found this at a garage sale. They retail for about $200. I'll put a link in the description. I got super lucky with this one. It's only like $20. And then I'm using these just Amazon lights in the back, so they're pretty bright. And then same thing, headlight with the light there. GoPro Hero Black 8 to get that shot there. Specialized helmet. I'm probably due for a new one because I did take a pretty nasty spill back in Toronto, like literally the day after I got my bike, first ride, and I took a bit of a spill. So I should probably update my helmet. My son's helmet is this 1000 brand. It's just a really nice retro look that I like. Sí, ya voy, papito. Ya voy. Yeah, I'm going to take off my shoes and we're going to go play together in the sand, okay? Yeah. Okay, I'll be right there. And that's it. That's really like my bike kit. I've kind of strapped this little bag to it just because I need something. But yeah, looking for recos on other like baggage, like a handlebar bag would be good, or something else, just so that I can like carry some of the equipment that my son needs, because obviously like you need to carry supplies for him, especially if we're gonna be out and about. All right, buddy, should we go play? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take my shoes off. Let's go play. Finally, my shoes are these Adidas bike shoes with the SPD SL cleats on the bottom. Pretty standard entry level, not really high end stuff, but I really like the Adidas bike shoes. Not that I have anything to compare them with, but I just think they look super cool, and they're not really like a brand that you see a lot of other guys on bikes rocking.
I love being out there with my son, and as he's getting older, as his abilities, physical and mental, become more like tuned, he's able to do more, he's able to observe more and communicate more, so we can talk about the things that he's seeing and the things that we're doing while we're out there in the world, which is like a completely new level of relationship for him and I.
I had fun. Did you have fun?
He loves getting on the bike with me. I love taking him. It just stacks a lot of things together, right? Like I can take him out on the bike, gives my wife a break here at home. I get a little bit of exercise. He gets to be outdoors. We get to spend some time together. We'll stop at a playground. He'll play, he'll run around, he'll, get dirty and, be a kid. And then we'll get back on the bike. I'll get a little bit more exercise. We'll come home, have dinner, and we've made some memories, got some exercise, and had a great day. Like today, stressful, busy day at work, back-to-back meetings, like sitting, talking, very mentally exhausting. So you get outside, get some fresh air, which is great, and I get that, some of that when I'm walking the dog, but like, exercise, actual like physical exhaustion that just kind of makes you feel good is hard to come by. So the bike rides help with my son, but he doesn't always want to do that, and even when he does, like it's only like really short bursts that I can do with him before he gets tired or before he gets bored. So yeah, I mean, again, just requires intentionality and planning, which I just haven't found the rhythm yet. So if you're out there and you're a dad and you're going through the same thing, like I feel you, I hear you. And if you're out there and you figured it out, please let me know, because I'm trying to figure it out too. You know, now it's like I go pick up my son, I take him to the park, and got to watch him exercise for an hour, which is great. I love that. I love watching him play. I love him doing that. But, you know, how do I find the time for myself? How do I find the time for me to get that space? So what do you do then? Like, I'm lucky enough living in Manhattan and working in Manhattan that a walk to work, if I do it at a decent pace, is maybe 45 minutes. That's not really feasible in the morning. It's not really when I'm trying to walk. But like, if it's a beautiful day, I'll walk home from work at lunch.
One of my favorite things to do is when I have an hour over lunch, just go for a long walk, or just even walk home from work. Walking through streets I've never been before, finding neighborhoods I've never been before. And today, running into a new location for L'Industrie, one of the best pizza spots in New York City. I so rarely get to have L'Industrie because there's always so much of a line up there. And I'm just not about standing outside for 30, 40 minutes for a slice of pizza. But today was a good day. In and out, 10 minutes. Got myself 2 slices. They were delicious. And I got myself a pistachio tres leches cake, which if you go to L'Industrie, I really recommend. It's a weird place to get a tres leches cake. You can thank me later.
You can file today under one of those perfect spring days. So perfect, I even got enough time and a break in my schedule to come shoot some hoops at the basketball court for a few minutes before I take my next meeting, which is double, triple awesome. I didn't say I was any good. I just said I was gonna shoot some hoops. So get outside. Just go outside. Find the opportunities in your workday to go for a walk. If I can, I'll work as long as my battery life and Wi-Fi connection will allow me to work outside. But if you can't, then, you know, find smaller opportunities to be outside and really enjoy the day, soak it in. Because if you're in a climate that has 4 seasons, you know that these days are few and far between, and life is too short. If it's a beautiful day, go outside. And if you're outside right now watching this or listening to this, however you're consuming this, if you haven't subscribed already, do that and then turn it off and be present. Start a conversation with somebody. Just enjoy the spring because it's honestly the most beautiful time of year.